What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another week of the Playbook with Joey and Zach on WZBC AM Sports Radio. Tonight, we'll start the episode by recapping the Final Four of both the men's and women's March Madness tournaments. After that, we'll preview the final 3 games of the Celtics season and also discuss the Bruins hot streak. Then we'll transition to the MLB's opening day and give insight into the Red Sox-Yankees matchup tomorrow, along with our predictions for the upcoming MLB season.
Following that, we'll break down yesterday's Baseball Beanpot matchup between BC and Northeastern. BC ended up winning that game 4-2. And we will also preview the UMass BC finals showdown next Tuesday. Next, I'll also have my cousin come on, star pitcher for St. Michael's College in Vermont, sophomore. He's had a great season. He's going to call into the show to talk about his clutch relief performance from this past Sunday's game against Stonehill. And he'll also give some insight into how he thinks the rest of the season will go. At the end, we'll give our predictions for tomorrow's 4 and 4 matchups at the TD Garden, and I'll also give some predictions for who we think is going to win the finals. So, a lot to get through tonight. We're psyched to get going. March Madness is the beginning. Let's hear it. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get into it. Crazy game Monday night. Obviously wanted to see UNC win. Actually, I guess it's been a whole week after Duke lost. I started rooting for UNC in the championship against Kansas. I thought they played really well. I mean, it was a great team all year. Obviously, with Baycock getting hurt, it sucked. But, I mean, that team fought really hard. Caleb Love struggled in, the final game. He missed, a couple big-time shots, but he still played well overall, I thought, despite a poor shooting performance. And it definitely shouldn't overshadow the way he played against Duke. Big win for Kansas. They had 5 guys in double figures. They really played a strong team game. They were just hot in the second half. They were shooting well. What did they score? 47 points in the second half.
Yeah, it was a big choke.
UNC just kind of fell apart a little bit. Kansas had all the energy, all the momentum. Baycock going down, as I just mentioned, for UNC was really tough, which I'm really frustrated with because the reason he actually got hurt was because of a loose floorboard. I saw a replay the other day. Yeah, it's the national championship. I think that's ridiculous. They have a loose piece of floorboard on the biggest stage in the world for college basketball. So obviously frustrating. Big performances from a lot of guys in UNC, though. Baycott, Brady Manick, RJ Davis, Caleb Love all came to play, all in double figures. Overall, I think UNC had a great run. Hubert Davis always had a great run as his first year as head coach. And I was honestly a little bit surprised to see Kansas win that one, especially the dominant first half that UNC played. I thought it was over. So what were your thoughts on that game?
The thing about UNC that I actually liked was, obviously being an 8 seed, they came in being an underdog, and they didn't play like an underdog at all. They never played like an 8 seed. They played like a 2 or 3 the whole entire tournament. So
especially the last couple of rounds.
Yeah, they have nothing to keep their head down about. They played unreal, had a great run. I was rooting for them because of Chris Cotillo. I was texting him. He's a big fan. We've had him on the show before. Hopefully get him on to talk about the Red Sox at some point. But that's the thing, though. With them being an underdog, once Kentucky lost to me, I didn't really care who won. So I kind of latched on to UNC over the last 2 or 3 games just to root for them for his sake. And also, I like the team, too. I liked how they played.
Yeah, I like a lot of guys on that team. Baycott, Love, Davis.
Baycott kind of fits what I like about a player. He's hurt, has the ankle injury, hurt himself in that Duke game, tried to fight it off and play the whole game against Kansas. He gave it his all. That's just those are the type of guys I like, which I'll get into the LA
Caleb Love did that, too. He got pretty hurt, it seemed like, in the Kansas game.
And he kept fighting. And that's the thing.
He stayed out there the whole time.
I'll get into it about about the Clippers and everything and why I like, guys that fight and that, never give up. And Baycott embodied that, playing, as hard as he did, even with the ankle injury. You couldn't tell he was hurt until, obviously, he rolls an ankle with like 35, 40 seconds to go. But definitely a tough loss losing him. But, UNC did play really well. Obviously struggled from the 3, though, 5 of 23. But 55 rebounds. They dominated on the glass. Kansas actually had a lot of big bodies, too. It's interesting that, North Carolina had 55 boards. But it makes sense, though. They played the game right, did everything great fundamentally. Hubert Davis is a great coach. They have a lot to build off of. 24 offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they got a great future for sure.
24-8 was how much UNC dominated the rebounds.
Yeah, they were
offensive rebounds.
They were dominant on the glass, especially in the first half, too. There you go.
UNC right now.
Yeah, they really crushed Kansas on the board in the first half. I think that's one of the major reasons why. I think it went from 22-22 to 38-22 UNC. And a big part of that was because they had 16 second chance points at one point to Kansas' 0 with about 6 or 7 minutes left in the first half, which is absolutely nuts. A lot of that comes from Baycott, too, who finished with 15 points and 15 boards to go along with it. He was just an absolute beast out there. Kansas really had no answer for him. Obviously, him going down towards the end was really tough and really hurt UNC's chances. But definitely a great year one for Hubert Davis, I thought. And I mean, they're gonna have a great program going forward. So,
Yeah.
excited to see how that plays out.
The interesting thing was, I mean, them beating Duke was just overshadowed because obviously the Kansas game, everyone's only thinking about this game right now, the Kansas North Carolina game. But them beating Duke was impressive on its own. I mean, they were
that was probably
underdog.
The best college basketball game of the year. I mean,
they were unreal in
UNC Duke
I ended
Final
up beating
Four.
them just because I like the underdog story of it. I knew them coming.
I mean, yeah, we went back and forth last week, but it really could have been anyone's game.
UNC,
it was neck and neck the entire time.
I think they played better for the most part the whole game. I feel like they had the momentum for the most part, which I didn't catch as much as the game I wanted. Did catch the finals, but I wanted to catch more of that game against Duke. But the interesting thing, though, is Coach K finished his career 50-50 against UNC. So it's pretty crazy how competitive both teams have been and how good both teams have been for the last 30 years or so. That he was 500, which is nuts. So you'd think with how good Duke's been, recently.
I don't think there's.
The lead,
I saw some stat the other day. There's no team that's played him more than 10 times that has a winning record against him.
Yeah,
which is nuts. So it just goes to show what a great career he's had.
Yeah, and they played well in that game too. Obviously, they didn't come up with the win, but Baycott's injury definitely hurt. Still ended up winning the game. But that's a crazy thing, though. UNC had guys step up, and even in the finals game, you know what I mean. Love missed that tough game. He's 5-24 from the field, but and obviously Baycott was 3 of 13. But Manick had a great game. Hit a couple big threes. In the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, hit a big three. He had 13 points, but. That's the thing, though.
Tough free throw shooting from Duke, too. That
Yeah.
really killed them at the end. Mark Williams, 2 missed free throws. That would have given the lead. And then Trevor Keels at the end missed one. That would have made it a 1-point game and, would have been within reach at the very end there.
Yeah.
Had they wanted to shoot those. So, I mean, it really comes down to free throw shooting at the end of the day sometimes, being able to take care of the ball and shoot free throws.
Definitely. So that's the thing, though. That's sometimes the ball rolls where, you could be on your A game like they were. They're up 16 at one point. That's actually the biggest comeback in tournament finals history. 16 points. Kansas came back, which I got to give Kansas credit too. I mean, we're only talking UNC just because.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable comeback.
Kansas played great. Obviously, the second half they really zoned in on defense, made every shot a contested shot. Obviously, they were still getting hit with the rebounds. Rebounds was UNC still led in rebounds, but none of the shots that UNC really had in the second half were easy buckets. A lot of them were high drives. They hit a couple threes too, but a lot of them were high drives that they had to earn. So obviously Kansas really zoned in.
Yeah, they played incredibly hard.
McCormick had a couple of big shots too. I mean, all around though, they did deserve to win that game at the end.
They shot pretty well too. They shot 44%, and that was overall too. So compared to UNC's 31%, I mean, that's a big time difference. It's surprising that UNC was able to stay in a game with that, shooting only 31% from the field and 21% from deep, 22%. But I mean, it just goes to show how hard each team played. UNC in the first half and then Kansas in the second half. I mean, coming back from down 15 at the end of the first half, I thought that game was over, to be honest, at halftime.
I thought so, too. I thought so. It was like,
2 threes in a row for Kansas, and it's back to being a ball game with like 15 minutes left, 12 minutes left or something.
I mean, that's how it goes sometimes, you know what I mean? It's just
it's all I need. Yeah, all I need for a momentum shift, really.
I thought they were winning that, but...
Kansas or UNC?
I thought UNC had it up 16. I thought that.
Yeah, me too. I thought halftime. I mean, they just looked so good in the last 5 minutes of the half. UNC. I thought it was over after that. I thought they had all the momentum going to the break, and then Kansas just came out harder than UNC did. I thought. I mean, you could just kind of tell in the energy of the game that Kansas were going to make a comeback as soon as they hit a couple shots to start the half, and kind of shook off their poor first half performance.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. That's how, as I said, sometimes how the game goes, where you're going to go in a big run, be up in the first half, but the second half you really struggle. Obviously, they still kept a close game. They only lost by 3, right? They lost by 3. It was 72-69. But even then, though, you still want to win a game if you're up 16. But at least they didn't end up getting blown up by 15, even though we're up 16. You know what I mean? If it was a 31-point swing, that'd be a lot.
I mean, they still had plenty of chances at the end of the game.
Definitely.
Like Caleb Love 3 to tie it in overtime, and they had a couple chances before that as well.
Yep, absolutely.
The guy from Kansas stepping out of bounds.
Yeah.
So they had another 3-point chance before that.
Harris, stepped out of bounds on Kansas.
Yeah. I think Manick had a chance down the stretch. I mean, they had plenty of opportunities to tie the game, just couldn't make a basket.
On that last play, too, that inbounds play.
That looked a little purposeful to me, the way he was kind of crawling the court. It seemed like he was kind of a decoy.
I mean, it'd be interesting, though. I thought that, too, at first. But
there was only 3 seconds left, or 4 seconds left on the clock anyway, so I don't know if they really would have had time to get him the ball.
That's the thing, though. It was the last game of the year, less play just to try to, extend it, make it over to OT. I mean, I understand having a decoy if it's, third quarter of the NFL Super Bowl, you know what I mean? But having it be the last play of the game, I don't think it's worth, having a guy in there just a decoy. But I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, here we go. They had 3 chances to tie the game, actually, at the end. Caleb Love missed a 3 with 15 seconds left. Then it was Puff Johnson. missed another 3, and then
And Puff Johnson got a lot of minutes too.
Yeah, he really stepped up big time. Over Baycott. He was a big difference maker for UNC. I thought, but they just couldn't make plays down the stretch. Caleb Love had that missed layup too that would have given UNC the lead. They just couldn't get the lid off the basket for the final 2 or 3 minutes. It seemed like.
Yeah, it's nuts, but it was a great tournament though. Obviously, really exciting. A lot of teams. St. Peter's run was unreal. Obviously, they had 3 guys transferring now. I think
I bet Seton Hall. I think for sure. Shaheen Holloway signing with them
to join Holloway.
Seems like a great coach. Gets the guy playing really hard. So I think Seton Hall could make a step up in the Big East next year. Speaking of the Big East, actually, there were rumors today that Gonzaga is going to join them, but I don't buy it at all. A lot of people on Twitter were calling for them to join the Big East and said there was a good chance, but a couple of analysts came out and said that's definitely not happening. It's nowhere close. So I just think it would be odd to have Gonzaga in the Big East. I wouldn't see an issue with them joining a conference like the Pac-12 or something that makes a little bit more sense. Because I do think they should get out of the conference. With the other 2 biggest players being St. Mary's and San Francisco, who are good once in every blue moon like this year. But just thought that was an interesting thing I saw today.
Yeah, definitely it'd be crazy. I think they'll end up staying where they are. I think they're in a good conference where they're at. Really don't too much to compete against besides St. Mary's and.
I think that's good for them, but it also definitely hurts them when it comes to tournament time. They got to play, 6 legit teams in a row. They're not really used to that. And we've seen it the last few years. They're always so good and they get so far and just they can't, finish in the tournament. They haven't won once. So
yeah, that's the thing. Definitely tough. But moving on.
You want to get into the
women's
we can get into the
basketball.
women's
I know you picked
bracket.
South Carolina.
Yeah, big win for them.
Wasn't my winner, unfortunately. I had Louisville, NC State ended up not happening. UConn ended up being in it.
It was cool to see UConn out there. They had a great year. But South Carolina was just dominant.
26 points. Yeah.
Aaliyah Boston had a great game, which is great to see. She's from Worcester. It's pretty cool. She was a beast out there. 22 points in the championship game. Yep. She's an animal. Paige had 19 for UConn. She balled out as she always does. South Carolina really dominated in the fourth quarter. It was kind of nuts. The score was only 57-54 at the end of the third, and South Carolina outscored UConn 16-3 in the fourth quarter. Just absolutely dominated both sides of the game. They got their looks inside. They completely shut down UConn. UConn couldn't really shoot, and they forced them into tough shots as well. So South Carolina really earned this win. At the end of the day, I think they were just bigger and more athletic than UConn, not necessarily more talented. That team is just full of beasts, South Carolina. There's really no way to stop them. What are they, 30? That would make them, I think.
Yeah, they were unreal.
40-2 on the season. Yeah. I think they were 34-2 and then 6-0 in the tournament.
Or something before the tournament,
yeah. I think they had 2 losses, so 40-2 for the whole season. They were absolutely dominant.
They beat Louisville. Aaliyah Boston, like you were just saying, from Worcester, 23 points, 18 rebounds against Louisville. Louisville I had winning. I do like their football team. People know I'm a big Malik Cunningham fan, so I was rooting for their basketball team there. Lamar Jackson, of course. So I was rooting for them for there. But tough game there, obviously. The ACC, though, they had a lot of teams in both tournaments that did well. So Louisville just made it to the Final Four was an accomplishment of its own, just like UNC and Duke made it in the men's side. So pretty cool, though. Obviously, the ACC was putting in some work.
Big year for the ACC. 3 teams in the Elite Eight.
Definitely.
Father Leahy was psyched. I was talking the other day. He said he was rooting for the ACC. The school gets $338,000. The ACC gets like $350,000 or something every time an ACC team wins, which I thought was nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that is wild. I guess go ACC. It's good for them. So 3 teams in the Elite Eight. That was impressive, especially for what people were calling a down year. We saw how good a lot of these teams were. Notre Dame had a great year too. As I just mentioned, Miami, UNC, Duke. I think that was the only 4 in the tournament. And they all made it past the first round. I think UNC lost in the second round to.
In men's or women's?
Men's.
Oh, men's basketball?
Notre Dame. Did I say Notre Dame?
UNC lost to the ACC tournament?
No, I meant Notre Dame in the March Madness.
In March Madness.
I didn't mean to say UNC. I meant Notre Dame.
They lost.
They lost in the second round. Yeah,
they won their first game.
Either way, good performance from the ACC throughout the entire tournament. So.
Yeah. So definitely, it was a good run, both the women's and men's. Didn't really do well in either of them for me, but that's sometimes how.
It's all right. Neither did I. I had a tough time. I mean, I finished probably in the middle of my bracket pool for both of them. So
I didn't even open it after the first day.
I wasn't really
We're
checking,
out
but
right
someone
now.
just told me I was like 7th out of 16 or something. Yeah. How did we do against each other?
Let's see. I'm gonna open it right now.
Pool.
Let's see.
I was tough with. I only had Duke in my final four.
Finished
That was
10th.
the only team.
I finished 10th. You finished 7th. So
let's go. I knew I was 7th.
What a run!
I
for
mean,
me.
obviously not psyched about that. After a second place run next year, that I should have won if I didn't give Nick Raz my locks with USC and LSU last year.
That's tough.
I lost by 10 points after that.
Yeah,
which is tough. But
definitely tough. But
anyway, another storyline. Ryan Byrne, the winner of the league,
Ryan Byrne
didn't pay, so we're gonna get something fun for the mod next year with the money.
Of course, he didn't pay.
Yeah, no, you didn't hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, no, he said he'd pay $7 because he didn't have enough money in his Venmo or something.
Somebody get a job out there, kid in Italy.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's paying for nice dinners and everything. I haven't seen on his story, so I don't know what the deal was with that.
$7.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said he's gonna need like a loan or something.
Get his bread up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, he's always grinding networking, so maybe that's why.
I guess so.
We'll get him on next week. He can explain himself.
Yeah,
he's a beast, though. We miss him.
But Celtics, NBA, we'll get into some of that really quick, and then we'll see. I'm trying to get Joey Hosea on at some point, probably 7:30 or so. Probably run through the Celtics and the NBA for the next 8 minutes or so, and then maybe I'll hit the Bruins and then get Joey Hosea to talk some college baseball, and probably get into the Red Sox after that, and then Frozen Four tournament. By the time we know it'll be 8, which is crazy. So
it's gonna be a fast episode, like it
always
Celtics.
Is. So obviously, Grant Williams' injury, they've had to find a way for guys to step up. Grant Williams has been playing really well, like we've been highlighting. Obviously, Peyton Pritchard has been unconscious out there, as you would say. He's been killing it.
He's been a beast. Been a shooter we needed.
He's been unreal. He's like Luke Kennard.
It's ridiculous. He's averaging like 60-70% or something over the last few weeks, which is absolutely nuts. He really has been unconscious. I mean, he's the shooter this team desperately needed.
Someone had to step up.
It was always getting frustrating. Every summer, the Celtics go by, and there's shooters in the market. Like, I mean, not this year, obviously, but in the past couple of years, guys like J.J. Redick, Kyle Korver years ago, and the Celtics seem to always pass on shooters like this. Instead, opting to draft guys like Aaron Nesmith, Pritchard. I kind of expected more out of Nesmith to be more of a sharpshooter, but I'm absolutely psyched that Pritchard's been playing this way. He's really became the top 3-point shooter of this team, it seems like, in terms of catch and shooting. It's been absolutely ridiculous the last few weeks.
Yeah, the interesting thing is the Celtics right now are second in the East. They're tied, for second with the Bucks and the Sixers. We got the tiebreak rooms who are second. 2.5 games out from the Heat, so we'll probably finish somewhere between 2 and 4.
Yeah, with 3 games left,
interesting.
I would see us finishing. I mean, since we hold the tiebreaker right now over the Bucks and Sixers, I see us finishing second.
I'll say 3 or 4.
Which isn't a bad spot because right now it's most likely that the Nets, assuming they win their play-in. Oh, actually now there's a little bit of a shift, so they can get
the
you
Bucks play us tomorrow. So I mean that's a game.
That's got major implications.
It's head to head, so anyone can gain a game there. It's only 3. They got 3 left as well. Obviously, we play tonight too against the Bulls, I believe. Got Jaylen Brown back, which is huge.
Whatever the Nets do is a big deal too, because right now there's a chance that we end up with the 2 and the Nets end up with the 7. So that's definitely what I don't want.
Yeah.
In that case, I wouldn't mind even being the 4. Just anything to avoid them.
Then we might play the Raptors.
Especially just to be on the other side.
And then you might play the Raptors over Toronto, and some Celtics are unvaccinated. So you're going to run into an issue, I think, no matter what you do, which is the issue there, obviously. But playing in Toronto, you can't be
it is pretty strange, the whole thing. But then the Celtics came out and said that, if we're playing in Toronto, everyone's going to be ready to play. So I'm not really sure what that means.
I think they just want to shut down any distractions for now. I mean, why would Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, and some other guys that are healthy just sit out in that game? I just thought that was a little odd. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too. There's something weird going on there. But to be honest, I think right now, looking at the standings, if everything ends up looking like how it is right now, the Heat being 1, Celtics as 2, Bucks 3, Sixers 4, and then Cavs 7 and 8. I really like that matchup of Celtics Cavs in the first round, and then in the second round we'd play the winner of the Bucks and Cavs, which I'd rather play the Sixers in the second round, but I think the Bucks are definitely a better matchup for us than the Nets. I think the Bucks and the Nets are the worst 2 matchups we could possibly get, but we're gonna have to get one of them probably in the second round if we make it. But I think with the return of Robert Williams coming up in hopefully a few weeks, it's actually still not ruled out that he'll be missing the first round yet, even though I think he will. Celtics will probably remain cautious with him. But I mean, with him in the lineup, we've seen how good this team is defensively, and I think we can beat anyone, including the Bucks or the Nets. But I'd definitely rather see the Sixers, then the Bucks, then the Nets, if I had to pick an order of who I'd want the team to play in the first round, just based off matchups and everything. Because I know Kevin Durant would give us fits.
Kyrie too has been unreal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, both of them been going off. So
his layup against the Pacers yesterday was ridiculous. Went up, around, under, turn. It was just crazy. Switched hands in air. That'd definitely be a tough.
Yeah, to be honest, if I was putting money on a winner out of the East, I'd put money on the Nets right now. They looked great the last few weeks. They've had a couple shaky losses, but beyond that, Kyrie and KD are just balling out. I think come playoff time, everything's different. Talent almost always wins when it comes to playoff time. Had a close loss to the Bucks, and then that was actually a really good game. Went to OT and then lost to the Hawks after that, but came back with a big win against the Rockets 2 nights ago. So they look solid overall. That's a team I definitely don't want to see in the playoffs. But there's still a chance they fall into the 9 by the time the play-in comes around, or the 10 actually. It depends how the last few games sway, and then they would only be locked into the 8th seed should they win their play-in games. So I think that's an ideal situation for the Celtics right now, who are realistically going to be a 2, 3, or 4 right now. So definitely excited to see how that plays out over the next couple of weeks. And in the West as well, the
Clippers,
LA Lakers. I was gonna say the Lakers.
My Clippers.
They're done, dude. Tough loss last night. They're officially eliminated from the play-in. Yeah, their Clips are looking good though.
I only like the Lakers because I like LeBron and Russ. I actually am a fan of the Clippers. That was the difference. I don't really have any Lakers, apparel or anything. I got a ton of Clippers stuff: long sleeves, sweatshirts, flip flops, hats.
You wear more Clippers than Celtics.
Here's the thing though: the Clippers have nicer colors, in my opinion. But I always wear blue and red because of the Giants. But then obviously white. They just have cleaner colors to me. And then also, I'm just a big fan of the way they play. The Clippers. Right now, I have the win.
When you rock the Clippers, you shoot well. Pick up. So.
I do. I have a red sweatshirt. I wear well. I play well when I'm wearing it. But the Clippers right now at 39-40 in the West. And playing in the Western Conference, being just about 500 without Kawhi Leonard this whole season. Only 29 games of Paul George. So impressive how great of a coach Tyronn Lue is. Paul George is 3 games back from his injury. He's averaging 23.7 points a game, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 52% from 3, which is nuts. He's having a great run so far in his return. They've
had a couple big wins.
Yeah, and he put up 153. The Bucks on their own, against the Bucks, the Clippers put up 153 on their own without Paul George. Last Friday night, 153 to 119. They won by 34. Paul George didn't even play, as I said, but they had 43 points from Robert Covington, another guy that fits everything that team embodies and the structure they want their guys to have and play by. Robert Covington went 11 for 18 from 3, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists from Rhea Coffey. And then you add in Luke Kennard having 23 points and Terrence Mann with 18. I'm a big Terrence Mann guy. Talk about him a ton on the show. But the Clippers, though, something about them, though. So then they blew out the Pelicans by 19 after. And they're just a hot team getting hotter. And at the right time, Norman Powell's coming back tonight. First game back since February 12th after his foot injury. And they're playing the Suns tonight. And they're favored by 2.5 points. The Suns have the best record in the NBA. Number 1 team.
The Suns are starting to sit guys. That's the thing.
That's the thing, though. But factor in, though, still have a good team. Factor in, though, if Paul George probably play tonight. But factor in, they don't have Kawhi Leonard yet. You add Kawhi Leonard to this team, they'll win the NBA Finals. I'd put anything on it.
The only reason they're favored tonight, though, is because the Suns are sitting Paul, Booker, and Aiden.
Put them all 3 in the lineup, they still win this game. I still would take this team to win this game. I can't wait to see them. I hope they match up, because right now the Clippers are the 8 and the Suns are the 1.
That would be a good first-round matchup.
I'd love for them to
match up. I still got Suns in the 6 in that one, though. Just the way the Suns move the ball.
Dude, it was 6 games last year
guys that can shoot.
without Kawhi and Norman Powell. You know what I mean? It was 6 last year without them.
I think the likelihood that team stays completely healthy, though, is slim to none.
It's just like saying, Tatum in the clutch won't dribble the ball off his knee. It happens every year. You know what I mean? Same thing.
But, you can still say that
someone
on the Clippers will get hurt.
I think this is the year they win it. There's something about the grit, the energy they play with. That's everything I like. I've talked about hustle on this a million times. A million. I love guys that hustle and give it their all. There's something about the Clippers, something about Tyronn Lue, the mentality gives them. None of them give up. They all dive on every loose ball, as I've talked about. None of them take plays off. No one's walking up the court. They're going for every offensive rebound. They're drilling threes. They're playing great defense. The best, I'd say the most talented team defensively with how great they are on defense. Paul George, lockdown defender. Kawhi Leonard, lockdown defender. Norman Powell, very good defender.
Having those two guys is a big question mark, though.
Robert Covington, great defender.
Great team.
Avicii Zubac, great defender. Every one of the team. Terrence Mann, actually, another great defender.
I don't see any way they're going to have Kawhi and PG healthy.
They're locking anyone up even without those 2 guys, though. Honestly, I think they can lock up.
They can, but that team without both those guys is going to beat the Phoenix Suns, who have been the best team in the league by far this year.
I'll say this: the Celtics better just hope that if they ever were to make the NBA Finals, it ain't the Clippers. I'll say that Celtics are beating the Clippers in 7.
I mean, right now the only team that you've seen the last few years too. Every team that has made the semifinals, the conference championships, and the NBA Finals have been teams that move the ball the best in the NBA.
I mean, they did against the
Suns, Bucks last year. I mean, those are two teams that are really built with guys that can really play a role. Each team has a true point guard, guys like Drew Holiday and Chris Paul, superstars like Booker and Giannis, and I just don't see the Clips having that same build. Just the way, I mean, they're a defensive-minded team, but they don't have the same kind of ball movement and flow on offense that a team like the Suns have.
They have the aggressiveness they need, though, the energy that takes.
But the last few years, it's been the teams that have been able to move the ball, have a lot of offensive flow. We've seen it with the Celtics too, how much better they've been playing. That's really what the league's become these days.
I mean, I'm taking, as I said, I'm a Celtics fan, but if the Celtics were to play the Clippers, let's say in the NBA Finals, I think the Clippers are making the NBA Finals. I think they win the West, especially if Kawhi comes back. It's not a question in my mind.
If it's Celtics and Clippers without one of Kawhi or PG at the Celtics in 5 or 6.
I don't know.
I don't know. Kawhi, then it's top. That's going to be a 7-game series.
Without Robert Williams too, smaller lineup.
I think if the Celtics make a deep run, we'll have Robert Williams by. I mean, it's tough to predict because there's a good chance they're going to be cautious of them, but they're still keeping an open book in the first round too, which gives me hope that later in the playoffs there's a decent chance that he'll be playing. I don't think he'll be playing in the first round. It's way too soon, even though they're saying they're keeping an open door for it. But yeah, by the time it's May, I think there's a decent chance he comes back.
Someone's gonna make a run though, even without him. But
I mean, we definitely got the potential the way everyone's shooting right now. Pritchard's been stepping up. Guys like Grant Williams, he's been one of my favorite players this year, actually. Starting lineup's been playing great as well. Smart and White have been a great lockdown backcourt, I think, for this team. That's really what we needed. I think the Derek White trade made a huge difference. I mean, we've seen the way that this team has played since that trade, just defensively, the hustle and everything. I think we got one of the best defensive backcourts in the NBA right now, if not the best. And Derek White and Smart. So, and then you got two incredible scorers, Brown and Tatum, who have been, averaging low 30s, high 20s every night, pretty much. And then ideally Rob Williams to anchor it down in the middle. If not, Al Horford and Tice. Obviously not the same, but they can still play and compete in the playoff team. They're still both good enough, in my opinion. So I got the Celtics coming out of the East right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it works out. Definitely psyched. Anything else you want to add there? Or?
What do you want to move on to?
Bruins really quick.
Yeah, let's get Bruins.
Before we get Joey Hosea in here, talk about the Bruins really quickly. The Bruins have been very hot. We've talked about them over the last few weeks. 17-4-1 over their last 22 games. Currently 6th in the Eastern Conference. Very close. Only a couple points in between a good amount of the teams besides the Panthers. But 22 points in the last 23 games from Taylor Hall. I know people have talked about his effort in the past, but something clicked on this team right now, and he's playing great hockey. Jake DeBrusk, another guy that has, people have talked about his effort, but obviously he wanted out at one point. He's third in the team in goals right now at 21. He's had a revitalized, season. I mean,
yeah, he's been playing really well.
He's been great.
Coming from doing nothing and requesting out, now, doing what he's doing now, scoring goals, being a major contributor. It's been great to see. Signing the extension as well. He's kind of getting back into the shape we saw 2 or 3 years ago with him.
Definitely.
Lighting it up a little bit. So big goals the last few games from him. Yeah, exactly. We need depth, especially in scoring. Just the way they're so top heavy. It's great to have a guy like DeBrusk really stepping up and finally scoring goals, as we kind of expected him to the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
Just seeing that.
And that's another thing. The Bruins needed goals, and obviously you're going to get points and goals from Pasta and Marchand, but you needed someone else to step up. And obviously Bergeron does a lot too. All three of those guys, the top 3 players, do a ton. You just need other guys to step up around them. Pasta and Marchand have 71 points each, and then you have Bergie and Hall tied for third in the team in points with 54. They just got to stay hot. That's what the Bruins have to do. Obviously, I have only 5 or 6 games left, so just finish the season sharp. Get into the
tied up with the Lightning
healthy.
right now too, which is impressive. We're 1 game ahead of them in terms of games played, but we're tied at 93 points. So, and the Leafs are only ahead at 96 points. And we have the same amount of games played as them. So, there's still a chance we could get that second spot in the Atlantic. I don't think it's likely at this point, given we only have 5 or 6 games left. But it's definitely a possibility. It's going to go down to the wire, regardless.
Absolutely, yeah. So, see how that goes. Definitely psyched to see how that works out with the Bees. I know Mike Curley's psyched too. We got to get him on here at some point. But now we'll probably move on. Joey Hosea coming in.
Yeah,
Stoppage from St. Michael's College. Going to give him a call right now.
Yeah,
He's
let's
had a
go.
great
Excited to hear how
season.
the season's going.
Sophomore. He was great in high school. Got the chance to go play at St. Michael's with his brother Ryan, so they're teammates, which is really cool. And I've talked about Phat Hosea before. Great artist. He's also, a great pitcher as well, so he can do both. And then obviously Joey, character on his own, great baseball player too. So I'm psyched just to have him come in, give some insight into the season, how it's gone for the Purple Knights, and how he thinks it's going to end up. Here we go. Let's
Yeah,
call
for
him right
sure.
now. Here he is, star pitcher from St. Michael's College, Joey Hosea. How we doing, my boy?
What's going on, Joey?
How you doing, Kuzi?
What's going
There he
on?
is, my boy. Thanks for coming on, kid. I appreciate it. I just talked about how great of a season you've been having. You pitched great. 2 innings on Sunday and a big win. The team needed it, obviously.
Absolutely.
And how did it feel, though? Yeah, let me hear. So how do you think it went? How did it feel being on that mound Sunday, especially in front of a lot of fans, your whole family?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think baseball is probably one of the most mental sports. And I think that, just getting over, obviously the mental aspects of any sport's hard. But I think just kind of growing mentally as an athlete and just understanding what you're doing and just having some fun, I think that just carries what you try to do and everything like that. So, I don't know. I just think that the mentality has changed and kind of after getting those 2 wins, I mean, I know small school baseball and big leagues and stuff like that, it's pretty cool just to play in a small league where I feel like I would fit in and all that type
Absolutely.
of stuff. So now,
Yeah, that's
now
sick.
it's just me trying to grow within that small type of school feel,
Absolutely, yeah. And you
Yeah,
played
for
great. And it was great being there on Sunday. As I said, it was a great environment. Obviously, you had a lot of the boys there. You had a lot of your family there. I mean, it was the whole Kelly family there for the most part. It's like the Christmas party, huh?
Exactly.
I didn't even say my cousin. I got to let everyone know. It's my cousin Joey Hosea, as I said. I've been talking about his baseball abilities, but forgot to mention I'm his cousin. So can't let people forget, you know what I mean? But anyways, a big question, though, is do you feel like all the work you put in the offseason is shining right now? I know you put in a lot of work on the curveball and your off-speed pitches. How do you think it's been going? How do you think it's been looking?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for anything, if you really try to focus on something and you try to grow it, no matter if it's sports, baseball, life, whatever. But I just feel like when you try to improve on stuff for so long, I mean, eventually it's gonna start going your way. And I think that just after repeated efforts, anything's possible. So I just think that going through my summer and going through the off season, kind of just working out and just trying to get these pitches down better and all that. I think it's definitely coming out a little bit. And I mean, also just growing up, as a sophomore now, I just feel like having a little bit of experience and stuff just helps a lot. So I think obviously with all the experience and just everything you do on the off season, I definitely think it's making a little bit of a difference now.
Yeah, I hear you. What's your routine been like to stay in shape, both on a daily basis and weekly, throughout the off season?
Yeah, I mean, so in the off season, I was just kind of going to the gym a lot, throwing a lot, doing anything I can kind of just to get better, and because you never know what opportunities will be presented to you, if you continue to do good or change and get better and stuff. So I mean, I just kind of try my hardest and just go all into something because I mean we're all in college and I mean you're only in college once, so you might as well give it your best, I guess.
That's
but,
it, kid.
Yeah, I hear you.
You beast.
A good way to look at it.
But I mean, I don't know. My routine now is just kind of trying to maintain where I'm at. I mean, through the season, it's a little bit hard because, you have practice,
Class, of course, my boy.
Yeah.
He's been in the
You know what
books.
I mean?
Let's
We were
go,
talking-
yeah.
People forget about class. You can't forget about class.
Hey, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's why I call you a student athlete.
that's it. And I was at the game the other day. Me and all my boys, everyone was sitting by the bullpen. I was asking the kid about his homework.
PG, shout out PG.
There you go. PG, yeah, of course, shout out PG. Shout out Cap Curley, too. Can't forget Mark Walsh as well. The whole gang was there. You already know. Yeah, but that was great talking about your homework mid-game. Kid, I said, you thinking about your essay right now or thinking about baseball?
I'm out of game worried about my essay.
Yeah, hey, you got it done, though. Like a beast, like a gentleman, huh?
Let's go.
Bean shooter, baby.
Like a straight gentleman.
Bean shooter.
Just I'm always stressing about school, but hey, I look back and I'm like, hey, I've been here 50,000 times. This is just another one.
That's it. That's the mentality you need. I know you've been grinding more than anyone, and I know no one loves the game of baseball more than your brother Ryan. So having him on your side to guide you is huge too. And that's a question I want to ask you. What's it like being on the same team as your brother? I know it was a dream for you guys to play in college on the same team, and now it's come true. So what's it like?
Oh yeah, I mean, coming out of high school and stuff, like I obviously had different opportunities to go to different schools and not even play baseball at some of them, but get you could say a better education or whatever. But I mean, once I got the opportunity to play like a college sport with my brother, I was like, it was just something I couldn't really pass up. And I mean, me and my brother have a closer relationship, and it's just like really like we're honestly kind of more friends than brothers. But like, and I don't mean that in a way, but I mean like we're both obviously, but
yeah, and I get that. I mean, you're my brother too, kid. You know what I mean? You got to add that in there. You got a lot of brothers.
Exactly, like
my boy.
You're my brother. Like he's my brother. Like
you got a lot.
The same,
James.
But, it really is just like playing baseball with like one of you guys, So it's really nice and it's really fun and it's just something that was once in a lifetime and just had to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Here's another one for you, Joey. Who's your go-to pregame artist?
Oh God! All right.
Or song, either way. I know you got songs, artist, either one.
Last song you listened to before you get up there?
That's a tough one.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one.
You can never go wrong with some Lil Baby. I feel
like
okay.
I feel like he's hot right now. He's got tunes like he can get you hyped. He can get you in the zone. He can get you ready to go. Like so.
That's it.
I think I'm always going for some Lil Baby, maybe some Drake pregame, old Drake.
Hey, maybe some Lil Yachty, dude. She ready, Lil Yachty. I know it gets us going. You know that.
Phat Hosea every once in a while.
Phat Hosea, of course. I mean, yeah, you're lucky. I mean, you have the best family in the world, the funniest family. You got athletes, you got comedians. I mean, you can't be any more lucky than you are with your family. Hey, you already know my brother for life. You know that, kid, since day one. And obviously, I've talked about Mark on here a ton. He's come on, but it's great having you come on here. It's just a blessing being able to have you come on. I got to get Jacob on here at some point, Paul on here at some point, Ryan.
I know it has been a minute. Yes, sir. It has been a while. You got to come through to BC again soon.
I'm there.
Let's go. Next year in the Mods, come on.
Definitely, kid. We need you on the football team here too. But I know your abilities. This summer, run it back July 23rd. People ain't ready for that. The Ponset, they're not ready.
Everyone come out to Dorchester for that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I got another question. So, what's been your go-to pitch? Obviously, you've been throwing a lot of off-speed pitches, and I saw you had great movement. You've always had good movement, but the movement you had the other day, that was just unreal. As I said to you, that was elite movement you had on all your pitches. So, what's your go-to pitch? Is it the changeup? Is it the curveball?
So honestly, in a two-strike count, I've been liking my curveball, but in a two-strike count, I kind of want to go with the high fastball and then see what happens there. If they don't hit that, then I'm going down to a curveball in the dirt. Try to get a swing there. But if I'm behind in the count, like sometimes, like it happens to everyone, but like sometimes I'll just fall behind in the count. And something that I didn't have in the past that I have now is kind of like that changeup. And so when you throw a changeup behind in the count, it's like they think that it's a real nice fastball coming in, and they just take an absolute hack at it, and it just drops right before it gets to the plate, or the change in the speeds and everything like that. So I really like the way the changeup's working. I like the way the curveball's working. So yeah, I think both of those are my go-tos when I need them, and then obviously fastball is just a pitch to contact and all that stuff. But.
Definitely. For sure.
Yeah.
And you've been crushing it. So coming off 2 big wins, what's your outlook for the rest of the season? 2 huge wins, obviously. You guys needed those 2 wins, doubleheader, huge wins against Stonehill. What's your outlook for the rest of the season? How do you think it's going to turn out? What do you look forward to?
I think that definitely winning those 2 games is kind of getting us out of our shell. I mean, we didn't have the best season last year at all, but I feel like this team that we have now with the 11 or 13 actually freshmen that we brought in are actually really good freshman class, and I think that we're on a lot better baseball team on and off the field. I think that it's just important. This team, I feel like, meshes a little bit better together, and I think that coming off 2 wins, hopefully we can just string them together, catch some fire. You know what I mean?
That's what you need, kid. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you guys have been hot. The last 2 games.
Like Cruz says.
That's it, dude. You already know, kid. That's the name of the game. And so, here's another question I have. So, what game are you looking forward to most? Obviously, you got Bentley this weekend. Some huge matchups there, but is there a specific game you're looking forward to? Any matchup? I know you guys are playing in New Hampshire at some point, right, at Southern New Hampshire. So
Yep.
any games you're looking forward to?
I wouldn't say there's any games I'm really have marked down on the schedule that I'm like, oh, I can't wait to play this game. But definitely want to play the people that smacked us around pretty bad last year. I definitely want to play them and see, what we can do with this new team and see how we can battle back and kind of not get beat by them that bad again, and just see, exactly what we can do and just see how much we've grown and see where it goes. But for the rest of the year, I just do think that I'm more excited for the rest of the year after the 2 wins, and I think that just a lot. Everyone's just in a better spot mentally.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, and
Probably a
everyone
big
stepped
confidence
up.
boost, yeah.
A lot of people stepped up in that last game. Obviously, you went
Yeah.
an inning and 2/3. Had a nice strikeout. Obviously, there's some tough pitches there where I took a lot of videos of your pitches, which I sent you all of them, but some tough calls there. A lot of them look like you had the inside corner and he wasn't giving you those breaks. And then sometimes that happens, but you still came in, kept your composure, got the outs you needed. And then obviously, Colby finished the game, got the big win. I honestly thought you pitched well enough for the win. It's just, obviously, they took the lead and then you lose the chance to get the win. But you pitched well enough for the win. I wish you got it, obviously, since, this was a big win. Obviously, it would have been great to have on the record, but you pitched well enough to get the win. So that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, no, for sure. At that point in time, it's just kind of like you just want to win the game. So
that's it.
I'm just glad that I can go out there, do my part a little bit, and then have a freshman in Colby who, like I was saying, this freshman class is pretty good.
Definitely.
Didn't give into the pressure and kind of held his own and
definitely
that game. So that was huge.
And you had a lot of guys step up. I mean, Yuli's been playing great. Andrew went 3 of 6 in center field, which I never saw him play. I've never seen him play, and he just had a huge breakout game on Sunday. Obviously, leadoff hitter too, so you expect him to be a good hitter. But 3 of 6, that's huge, especially since you guys played. That was the 4th game of the series, so you guys were definitely, feeling, a little fatigued just from playing 4 times in 2 days. But you guys killed it. It was a huge win. Obviously, it's a momentum building now. Going back to Vermont, I'm sure you guys were psyched getting home. Kid had a big essay to write on the way back on the bus.
Yeah, hey, still got it done though.
I'm sure you got
That's
it done.
all that matters.
I know you. He
Gentleman,
does his work.
Like a real student athlete.
How to get it done, Just got to do what you got to do.
That's it. So one last question about the season. So what's the hardest thing about pitching in Vermont? Is it the cold weather? Is it all the travel you guys got to do? Obviously, since you play Stonehill and Bentley and Assumption and AIC.
Yeah, no, I definitely think it's the cold weather. Because we went down to Florida or even pitching in Boston, where we're from and stuff, But it's it's cold there, but up here it's just a different beast when it's cold. And everything just stiffens up and stuff. So pitching in the cold's not fun. But I do think that's the biggest downside of pitching in Vermont.
Cold.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely the cold.
Definitely. And hey, I might have to make my way up there, kid. Me, you, Ryan Hosea. That's quite the pitching rotation there.
Let's get it done.
Why not? That's the big 3 right there. Why not? We were on the same team in high school. The one time we were on the same team, we won a chip, did we not? So come on.
Right, there you go. Bring it back.
The NE10 ain't ready for that. If us 3 are on the same team, we've only had 1 year on the same team, all of us. Chip.
Yep.
Joel was in 9th grade, just being an absolute stud. Or 8th grade. You were in 8th grade, absolute stud.
Wow.
He was a stud, and then he transferred to CM. But if we kept you, kid, the domination would have kept going, dude. Imagine me and you, senior year, junior year, in the rotation. Would have been nuts. They wouldn't have been ready in the MCSAO. But so a couple more questions. Funniest teammate besides Ryan? Obviously, you got some characters of the team, and Jose and Justin, Ozzy. Who's the Yuli?
Yeah.
Who's the funniest teammate besides your brother Ryan? Because obviously we know he's a comedian.
I feel like all the guys offer different things. It's just like a friend group or even anything in life. There's just always people that offer different things, and so I just think that in the bullpen and stuff, being a pitcher, there's always that one quiet kid that just busts out a random joke.
Yeah, I get that, and I got that vibe of it because I was standing by it the whole game.
Yep, exactly. There's always that guy that's always making jokes. Some of them are funny, some of them aren't. And, there's always that guy that's just lights out with every joke, and it's just hilarious, and that's Ryan. So, it's hard to say after Ryan, but we definitely got some comedians.
I get that. You do have a lot. I was gonna say it's hard to pick one. That's why I named 4 or 5 guys. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I've only met some of those guys once, now twice this past weekend, but I couldn't imagine what it's like living with him. You're probably laughing the whole entire time, especially with Ryan. Just having him around. James, your brother James, another comedian.
Oh my God, James, something else.
Another legend. So a couple more questions, Joe. A couple quick hitters here.
Yeah, so Joey, who's your favorite pitcher to watch? MLB, college, anyone besides yourself or your brother?
Besides your brother, too.
Yeah.
I actually really like Jack Leiter.
Oh, stud.
He's a pitcher. He went to Vandy. He got drafted in the first round by
the Rangers. Yep.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just love watching him pitch. Like every time he goes out there, he's just a dog. He's just ready to go.
A dog, like the Clips.
He just handles his business like a gentleman. And I mean, what more can you ask for in a kid? You know?
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know. Yeah, Jack Leiter. He just always out there, just shoving and
definitely.
So,
and he's starting at Double-A. Maybe. I would say he's starting at Double-A this year. Maybe he'll make his way up to the majors. Next year at this time.
Soon.
You know what I mean? But one last question, Joe Ho. Favorite athlete overall? I'm assuming it's probably going to be a Boston one. But if not, who's your favorite athlete overall?
Like of all time?
Anything. You can pick all time,
Right
current,
now, all time,
future, yourself in the MLB. I mean, pick anything you want.
Just as a kid, I just think, obviously, like, I have my fair share of, like, players and stuff, but, like, I love the Celtics and everything, but just of all time, I think David Ortiz, like...
Yep.
Okay. That's a good one.
There was just nothing more, electric than going to Fenway when David Ortiz had the bat in his hand, and he was just knocking the ball around, knocking it out of the park, like no other.
You already know, kid.
But, yeah, definitely David Ortiz, like, he just had that it factor that a lot of people will never have. And so, I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he was special to watch.
And you got that it factor too, though. You battle always, just like the Clippers. You play like a dog.
For sure.
I know you with the Clippers a little too. You know their dog. I know you know.
Hey, I was listening to the show before I came on. I don't know, man. I think the Celtics got that.
Easy there, kid.
Especially no
Clips
Kawhi or PG. If you don't have both of them healthy,
PG's
it's not even
fine.
be close.
PG's
with
good.
both of them, it'll be a series. With only one of them, it's not going to be close.
It's a very different series, and neither of them can stay healthy. So
yeah, that's my thing. I mean,
if they did,
come May and June, they're not going to be around. Probably
PG will be fine. Kawhi's the only question about coming off the ACL, only having it be 9 months now. But I think
no Kawhi
PG will be fine.
No Kawhi, the Clippers aren't going to be close to the finals, in my opinion. So
whoever matches up against them will be worried. Let's be honest. They know they're going to have to play a full 48 minutes a night.
With PG, they're going to be good for an 8 seed.
Gritty.
Scary, but the Celtics just, I don't know. They've been
the way they're playing right now,
really
yeah.
Well. Like Cruz said, after that trade for White, they've just been balling out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, offensively and defensively, just the ball movement and then the hustle and the heart on defense. It's been tough to beat for a lot of teams, and that'll carry us deep in the playoffs for sure.
Joe Ho, kid. Hey, it's a pleasure having you come on. You know you're always welcome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
It was great to talk to you both.
Yeah, it was good catching up.
See you soon for sure.
Always a pleasure, kid.
Come
Hopefully
through
we get another
anytime.
one. Hopefully another game soon. But absolute stud pitcher right here. So it's a pleasure having him come on the podcast. Thank you so much,
thank
Joey.
you.
Appreciate it, my boy. Love you, kid.
All
right, have a good one. All right, take it easy. Bye-bye. What an
Well,
absolute
sick,
legend.
yeah.
Having Joey Hosea
Glad
come
to
on the
hear
pod.
from Joe. I get to hear with the St. Michael's baseball season. Pretty sick. But now you want to continue with baseball and move into opening day in the MLB?
Absolutely, yeah. So the Red Sox are supposed to play tomorrow. End up getting rescheduled to Friday now at 1 o'clock due to some weather in New York. So tough to move the opening day, especially since we've been waiting. Now it's been a whole week from when the season was supposed to start because the lockout pushed it back. We already lost a week of the season. Now we're just missing another day. So the anxiety and the anticipation obviously is building up. But I'm psyched.
It's
I'm
still
looking
coming.
forward.
We know it's going to be on this weekend regardless. So.
Absolutely. And I'm psyched to see where the Red Sox end up. Obviously, coming into the season, had 92 wins last year. I see them having another really good season. I think they're going to go 88-74, so just 4 games less. I still think they make the playoffs. I just see with the division getting much better, and the division was already stacked, but with how much the Blue Jays put in, how much the Rays have been doing too, I think the Red Sox go 88-74, make the playoffs, probably finish second in the AL East. It would be very close between those 4 teams. Obviously, the Orioles will be the 5th, but the Orioles also have some talent. Cedric Mullins, my pick for MLB leader in hits this year. I think he'll obviously be the leader in average as well. He should be up there in the MVP conversation. He puts up another 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases like he did last year. But my pick right now, obviously the Red Sox play the Yankees. I want to talk about that. Evaldi, Cole, Friday now, supposed to be yesterday. It's a wild card rematch. Should be a great game. I think the Red Sox end up winning that first game. Start the season hot. I see them beating Garrett Cole and the Yankees 7-4. Hopefully the bullpen is strong too. Obviously the starting rotation has been an issue for the Red Sox. And just the other day, Chris Sale was announced to be out through June. So that's definitely a tough loss. He can't stay healthy. Speaking of Kawhi and PG.
Yeah,
Sale's
that's
even
been a
less
major
healthy.
issue.
Sale's even been less healthy, which is harder to believe.
Yeah, we haven't started a season with him. Have we started one season with him? Just his first one,
No,
right? Or not even his first?
He was here for the first one. Besides that, he has been
Since
healthy.
then, yeah, it's
Which is
every year
nuts. So
now. I
one
mean,
year
it's tough.
he was fully healthy. That's the thing. But hopefully the Red Sox catch fire, have a great lineup. Obviously, we talked about Trevor Story before. Xander Bogaerts going to his last year of his deal. Devers, the Red Sox tried to give an extension to, I guess, today. I guess they were far off in the numbers, so it ended up not working out. I see Devers being in the MVP conversation, being a top 3 in the MVP for the AL.
For sure, he's one of the best hitters in the league right now.
Oh, hardest too. I mean, you never want to throw him a fastball over the plate, or it's going to end up all the way in the ocean, 600 yards away. But my predictions right now for the MLB season is going to go down. I'm seeing Phillies, Dodgers in the NL, Red Sox, White Sox in the AL. I love what the White Sox did in the offseason. Obviously lost Carlos Rodon, which is a tough loss. Rodon was great last year. They added Johnny Cueto, very underrated signing. Probably my favorite pitcher in baseball. Besides the one I've talked about, everyone knows I like DeGrom, Scherzer, Severino. I'm a big fan of Johnny Cueto. Love his changeup. I love the shimmy he does every time he pitches. Big fan of him. I think it's a great signing. Very underrated. Just happened a day or two ago. So I think Red Sox, Phillies, World Series. Red Sox over the Phillies in 6. The Phillies lineup has been electric. Obviously, adding Kyle Schwarber and Castellanos has been huge. Adding them, with Castellanos and adding them with Hoskins, excuse me. Obviously, Romuto has been unreal. Had a great year last year. Missed a few games. It was great. Hoskins strikes out a lot, hits a lot of home runs. Then Mickey Moniak, 2016 first overall pick, has been great in spring training. Hit another home run today. I see him taking another big step up. Obviously, he's 2 years in the majors, very short stints. Didn't work out. I see him staying in the majors this year and creating himself, establishing a role within the Phillies lineup. What do you think for the season, or the Red Sox?
Yeah, my World Series prediction right now is Red Sox Mets, with the Red Sox taking the whole thing. I think the Red Sox are going to be really underrated last year. We saw that last year, how a lot of people were kind of writing them off, and they still finished with 94 wins, right?
92.
Okay. Regardless, we got some of the best hitters in the league, and then we're adding Trevor Story now, too. I'm losing a guy like Schwarber is going to hurt a little bit, but obviously replacing him in the infield with a guy like Trevor Story at second base is going to be huge for the team. And then looking to the NL as well, I think the Mets, they got 2 of the best pitchers in the league right now, and Scherzer and DeGrom. And they got plenty of guys that can hit as well. And, they're one of the favorites right now as a World Series contender. I think they're ranked number 7 in terms of Vegas odds. So I think they're definitely a sleeper pick to win the NL this year, just with incredible starting pitching. And then, plenty of guys that can hit the ball really well, too. They get on base well. And I got Red Sox winning the World Series. I think we're going to be one of the best teams in the American League, in the league this year. And I mean, kind of like you said, I kind of agree. The AL East is going to be stacked with teams like the Blue Jays, Rays, and the Yankees. We should still finish first, second in that division. I think we're the most talented. So I only really see us being first or second. It's going to be close to the top, regardless, though. There you have it. I got Red Sox over the Mets.
So some predictions for awards. I do really like Devers. I think he's going to be in the conversation. I think Cedric Mullins is in the conversation. But if Mike Trout stays healthy, same thing with Ohtani. It'll be either one of them, I believe, winning into the AL. Obviously, last year, Ohtani had a great season. Trout was out for the majority of the season. But if you could put both of them right now, I'd say, which in the MLB rankings, they were number 1 and number 2 in the best players of baseball. So having those 2 guys on the same team, I'm sure they'll both be competing for the MVP vote. I'm going to go Trout if he's fully healthy. I think he's the best player in baseball, especially if he can play 4/5 of the season. That's all you want out of him. Mm-hmm. They can make the playoffs if he does. Obviously, with that division really just being Houston and the Angels really competing there. The Angels obviously picked up Noah Syndergaard, so another guy that's been hurt a ton. But if he can stay healthy, I have an ace in him. So I'll take Mike Trout winning the AL MVP. NL MVP, obviously a question mark always, since the NL is always a ton of guys hitting 50 home runs. Off the top of my head right now, I love Mookie Betts. I'd say Mookie. The NL is very stacked. Bryce Harper won it last year. I don't see him repeating. But at the top of my head right now, it's a good question. Freddie Freeman had a great year last year, too. Obviously, adding him to that Dodgers lineup, big question mark. How he's going to fit in that lineup. They're already so stacked. He's probably going to hit in 4th, I'd imagine. But NL MVP, trying to think right now. I'd say Mookie off the top of my head. I think he has a big year. I think Cody Bellinger's a bounce back year. I don't think he's going to win MVP. But it'll be interesting to see. So Red Sox, Phillies, Cruz got Red Sox, Mets.
Yep.
Oh, actually, I forgot Juan Soto. Juan Soto, he's actually the favorite right now. But Juan Soto, another guy, that whole team
He's
is
the
built
NL
around.
favorite right now.
I think he can
Can't
win
forget
it.
him for sure.
I'll probably go Soto in the NL. AL, I'll go Trout. I think Devon's close second. Ohtani third. Cedric Mullins fourth. I think Cedric Mullins wins the hitting award. I think he'll have the most hits in the MLB. I think the NL, though, will be close. I think the Phillies, Dodgers, I think the Phillies are going to make a big stride with how good their lineup can be, especially power-wise. I mean, all those guys can hit home runs. So it'd be cool to see, how that works out. Obviously, last year, Ohtani won the MVP in the AL. It's very tough to repeat.
I mean, he's
MVP
got
awards.
just as good a shot as anyone, though.
It's tough to repeat.
I mean, he's
though, that's
leading in the odds right now. Yeah, it is tough.
You know what I mean? It's tough
but
to repeat.
he's actually still my pick for the AL, and then I got Mookie in the NL. So, I mean, Mookie's a little bit more of a far shot, I think. I mean, yeah, either way, NL will definitely be close. There's a lot of guys out there. Bryce Harper could repeat. Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers is another favorite.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how he fits in that lineup. Definitely be cool to see. And then Rookie of the Year, it'll be very close. Obviously, there's a lot of good talent going in. I think Spencer Torkelson has a great chance on the Tigers. Obviously, Bobby Witt Jr., number one prospect of baseball in Kansas City. I'm sure he'll probably be the most favored. I haven't checked the odds there. I think he'll be the most favored. Torkelson, I think, is the third or fourth best prospect in baseball. Torkelson's number two. Julio Rodriguez, another great player in Seattle. A lot of these teams are rebuilding teams. So you got Kansas City with Witt Jr., you got the Tigers with Torkelson, the Mariners with Rodriguez, and then the Orioles with Adam Rutschman. Four teams right there that are rebuilding but have a lot to look forward to and seeing how those guys obviously work out and pan out. I'll probably go Torkelson. I'll go in the AL. That's the thing, though. The thing about the Cy Young and the Rookie of the Year, especially the MVP and all that, I guess it's all based off of, could be bias and stuff like that if we think could be the best.
Yeah, sports these days with, media picking awards and everything. We see it in every league.
Definitely.
Tons of recency bias, all that kind of thing. So, gotta be aware of that. I mean, that's a huge obstacle right now for Shohei to run it back again, win the MVP for the AL. So definitely got to keep that in mind.
It'd be cool to see how it works out. I'll go Seiya Suzuki, another favorite, but big signing by the Cubs, signing him to a 5-year, $85 million deal. So huge signing for them, picking him up. I'll see him. I think he's the most marketable player right now in the NL for the NL Rookie of the Year vote. So see how that works out. But really quick, college baseball. Beanpot recap. Northeastern lost yesterday 4-2. BC had a big win. Great pitcher of Jordy Allen for Northeastern. Corey DiLoretto, hottest hitter on Northeastern's team. Went 4-7 in the last two games. Big RBI single in Sunday's matchup against William and Mary in the fourth inning to hit Mike Sirota home. 3 runs scored in the last 3 games for him. He's been very hot. Max Riera, another hot player, had a huge double in Sunday's game. 2 RBI double. Hit DiLoretto in, actually. And then yesterday, DiLoretto was 2 of 3. Added a walk as well, so 3 of 4 on base. Hustled to second base to break up a force out. And then Wyatt Scotty, Sunday, went 8 innings, 4 hits, 7 Ks, 2 earned runs. BC, yesterday, Cam Leary hit another home run. He's had a great season so far. Paka Landwehr hit a 2-run shot in the fifth to give BC a 4-2 lead.
He's been playing well the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, with Burns being hurt.
Been a good hitter for us.
He's been starting. Obviously, BC struggling against Wake. They ended up winning that last game of the series, but the first 2 games of the series were tough games with BC, losing 15-10 last Friday. I was there for that one, missed the last 2. But Paka Landwehr's been stepping up in Burns' absence. I think he took a pitch.
Yeah, I think he had a big hit in that Wake game, too, on Sunday.
He did. He pitched great.
Tied it up.
So I'll see how that works out. Leary obviously playing great. The pitching was great yesterday, too. Charlie Kuhn pitched really well when he came in the 5th and the 6th. Max Geek pitched very well against Northeastern earlier in the year and pitched well yesterday. So see how that works out. BC will be facing UMass. UMass beat Harvard yesterday 9-5. I'll give BC the edge. I think BC wins that game 8-5 in the Beanpot final. Should be interesting to see how that works out.
Yeah, I got BC winning 6-3 in that one. I mean, hitting's been solid all year. I don't think that's going to be an issue for us. And then, a team that has less talent compared to, every other ACC team in UMass, I don't think pitching will be as big of an issue for us as it usually is. So I got BC 6-3 on that one.
Absolutely. So we'll see how that works out. Then the Frozen Four tournament really quick. Tomorrow, semifinal at the TD Garden, Denver vs. Michigan at 5. Both teams high-scoring offenses. Both score over 4 a game and just give up about 2. Michigan has 13 NHL draft picks, which I've highlighted before. 4 of last year's top 5. The NHL draft 2021. Hingham native and sophomore forward for Michigan has 43 points. That's Matty Beniers, 43 points in the year, 20 goals, 23 assists. Brendan Brisson added 21 goals, 21 assists as well. Another sophomore, had a great season. Michigan's loaded talent-wise. Luke Hughes, only a freshman defenseman, has 17 goals, 22 assists. Michigan lit up Quinnipiac 7-4. AIC only gave up 5 goals to them, so impressive on AAC's part. But I got Michigan I got Denver actually beating them. Denver junior forward Bobby Brink, Hobey actually candidate, has 56 points in the year, number one in college hockey, former second-round pick of the Flyers. Carter Savoy's had a great year as well, 44 points. And then junior goalie from Sweden, Magnus Krona has a 91% save percentage, and he gave up 2 goals against average. And then Minnesota State versus Minnesota. In that game, I actually have Denver winning 4-2. And then Minnesota State versus Minnesota, I get Minnesota State winning 2-1. Minnesota State's got 4 goals a game, scores 4 goals a game, only allowed 1.29. Minnesota scored a ton too, 3.61, but they've allowed 2.26, so just a little more than Minnesota State has. Minnesota State's been led by Ryan Sanderlin, has had a great year, leads them in goals at 21. Forward Nathan Smith has 50 points of the season, which is second most in the NCAA to Bobby Brink. Guys to keep your eyes on there. Dryden McKay has been great in net, 1.27 goals against average, and then 93.4 save percentage. Minnesota's been led by junior forward Ben Myers. He's a Hobey finalist as well, 41 points and 17 goals and 24 assists. And then goalie Justin Close has a 1.83 for goals against average and 93% save percentage. And the Hobey finalists, the 3 of them, you got Bobby Brink, Dryden McKay, and Ben Myers. All 3 guys are in their Final Four, all 3 of their teams. All 3 of their teams are in the Final Four. I'll go with Bobby Brink. I think he's earned it the most. I think Devin Levi should have been the winner. He's not a top 3. Devin Levi should have been the winner since he had the second highest save percentage in college hockey this year. But give me Denver 3-2 over Minnesota State in the finals. I get Minnesota State 2-1 over Minnesota tomorrow. And then give me Denver 3-2 over Minnesota State. I'll take Bobby Brink to win the Hobey. So had to run for a ton there at the end.
Yeah, no, that was a good speed round. But yeah, with that, it's 8:02. We'll wrap up another week. That was good, by the way.
Yeah, we had flies of a ton.
But yeah, thank you guys all for listening for another week. We have a ton of fun doing this. We'll have a week off next week because we're out of school Thursday and Friday. We'll see you guys back on the 20th. We'll have a lot to cover then for sure. With a lot going down the next couple weeks.
Definitely.
So we'll see you guys then.
To that. Yeah. Really quick, Timmy Loftus giving his prediction 90 and 72. He's got the Red Sox going. I get 88 and 74, so very close. He's a big Kiki guy too, so I just want to add that. And
I like that.
Shout out to all my friends who are listening. Thank you, Paul. Paul Gerard listened in tonight.
Thanks to Joey for calling in too, by the way.
Joey Hosea, thank you for calling in. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Hopefully get Ryan Hosea on here soon. Thank you to the whole Keefe family, the O'Malley family, the Brennan family, the whole Loftus family. Thank you guys so much for listening. Mark Walsh, always a pleasure having you listen in. My whole family as well. My mom, my dad, always listening. Thank you guys. Hopefully get my dad on here again soon. But thank you guys so much for listening in. And as I've done the last few episodes, our thoughts and prayers with the Ukraine. And we do have the pleasure of being able to talk sports, but there's obviously a lot more going on in the world. So hopefully things get better there soon. And thank you, Auntie Lisa, as well, for listening in. Another person I wanted to throw in there. My Uncle Frankie's probably listening too. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back on next Wednesday night. Will be our last one before Easter break, which will be back the following Wednesday anyways. But that'll be right before we leave, Wednesday, April 13th. So we're psyched to get back to that. Thank you guys. Have a great night. Stay safe and well.